Welcome to HTML5 webinar series from jpassion.com. Today's topic is geolocation, topic number 5. All right, so let's go to the presentation. So these are the set of topics that we are going to cover. We will see what is and why you want to use a geolocation, and we'll see how it works underneath. And we will see how location data sources are being used. And we'll talk about the concept of accuracy and privacy. And then we're going to spend most of our time usage of geolocation JavaScript API. And then we'll see how we can use maps with a geolocation and geolocation examples at the end. So what is and why geolocation? So geolocation is a JavaScript API from W3C. Technically, it's not part of the HTML5 specification, but it's actually included as an umbrella under the umbrella of HTML5 technologies. It's built into the browser, meaning all modern browsers support geolocation API, and you can find out which version of what browsers and what version of that particular browser support geolocation. You can just go to here, caniuse.com, and you should be able to find the browsers and their versions that support geolocation, right? And opt-on required. So as we'll talk about later on, there is no way, basically there is no way to turn this off since it's built into browser. This is actually, we are talking about permission. You have to, the browser has to ask a user whether the user give a permission to share the location of the user. So that's what I mean by opt-on required. However, browsers have a setting in which you can specify a user can specify user's preference. For example, if you go to Chrome, you can go to the settings, and here you go to the advanced settings, and there is a privacy, and if you click content setting, and then if you scroll down a bit, then you have location. So here you have three options: allow all sites to track my physical location, or ask me when a site tries to track my physical location. This is a default, and do not allow any site to track my physical location. And you can also manage exceptions. Okay, so for this one, I want to always allow, but if I click this one, then it's going to use this default options. Okay, so we'll try that. Provides approximate location. Technology is going to change and improve, but for now, if you want highly accurate location, you might still have to resort to usage of native application. All right, geolocation use cases. So you might find points of interest in the user's area, or you can annotate contents with location information. And you can show users location on the map, and turn-by-turn navigation could be provided. Nearby points of interest could be provided to a user, and up-to-date local information, and location tagged status updates in social networking application, or auto-select country, state, and city and zip code depending on the location. Customize the contents could be provided. These are more concrete set of sample application ideas from this website, and I'll just go over some of those. For example, public transportation sites can list nearby bus stops and metro locations. Late night out, taxi or car service website can find where you are even if you don't know. So, if you allow your location to be shared to taxi companies, they know where you are and they can actually go to you. Shopping sites can immediately provide estimates for shopping costs, meaning when you actually kind of move around in the shopping center, the shopping sites, the stores could actually provide some estimates of the things that you actually bought, or some discounts, whatever. Travel agencies can provide better vacation trips tips for current location and season. And so depending on the location, they could actually give you more customized vacation tips. Content sites can more accurately determine the language and dialect, dialect for search queries. And that's kind of something that we are already seeing. If you go to a foreign country and you are already seeing the contents are being displayed in the particular country's language as a default and the localized contents. Real estate sites can present average house prices in a particular area, so when you want to actually kind of search for a house and if you move around, your application could actually give you more detailed information, customized information on that particular location. Movie theaters can promote films playing nearby. Online games can blend reality into the gameplay by giving users missions to accomplish in the real world. So I mean, you can see the opportunities for applications using location information is limitless. So I'm gonna just move ahead. All right, so let's see how it works. Okay, so let's actually try how it works. First of all, I'm gonna actually go to Google Map. If you go to Google Map, I go to Google and Google Maps here. And if you click this one, it's show my location. Okay, so if I click this one, and it will ask me whether I want to give a permission to allow this website to share my current location or not. So if I say allow, then it will actually, give me it'll actually show the location of where I am. Okay, so how it works. So when you visit location-aware website, like what I just did, the Google Map, and internally it will call geolocation API, JavaScript API, and browser will intercept it, and the browser will ask the user whether the user will give the permission to share the location, okay, as you have seen. And if you consent, meaning if you give the permission, at that point what happens is that browser gathers information about anything you can get, typically wireless access points or your computer's IP address, a MAC address, and the signal strengths, anything that you can use to locate you will be gathered, and that information will be sent to some site like a Google location service. So companies like a Google typically and Apple, Microsoft, they maintain a location service server where they maintain a lot of information about everything. So they can actually, get this information, and from this information, they can find where you are, and then it will send that information to the browser, and browser will actually display the information. Okay. All right. Now, if you are using a machine, for example, I'm using a desktop or laptop right now, I'm using wireless connection. However, if I use LAN wire, meaning Ethernet connection, in that case, it will use IP address of the location. It will use the IP address to find out where I am located. If it's using wireless, then it will use, we're going to talk about the information sources in the following slide. Okay, so just kind of information in terms of which one is being used when you are using a desktop that is using Ethernet connection, or when your wireless connection is off. All right, so location information sources. So there could be multiple information sources that could be used a particular device. Okay, so device could be using one or combination of these. By device, I'm talking about laptop or desktop or mobile devices such as the phones or tablets and things like that. So it could use IP address, and it could use coordinate triangulation using GPS or Wi-Fi access point, or the GSM or CDMA cell phone IDs. Okay. All right. So let's talk, or it could be user defined. So let's talk about each of these each of these source information in detail. So IP address is actually available for any, let's say, the connected device. So basically, HTTP requests send the IP address of the sender, meaning the machine that browser is running. And the benefit of using IP address-based location data is that IP address is available everywhere. Okay. Downside is that IP address-based location data is not accurate. Okay. In fact, it will give you accuracy at the level of the city. Okay. So it doesn't give you any, more than the city. So that's not really accurate in many cases. Okay. The IP address could be, in fact, one of the service provider, not the client machine itself. So I'm actually using, for example, RCN, and the IP address that's giving to location service provider to the of Google will be actually the IP address of the service provider, in this case RCN, rather than IP address on my own machine. Okay, so it might actually give you wrong information. If you actually see IP-based location information, it is already being used. Again, as I said before, if you go to a foreign country, the IP address of your machine is being used to detect which location, meaning which country you are actually sending the request, and it will give you the country-based the contents, including localized, local language-based contents. All right, GP-based location data. So we are using GPS pretty extensively right now. So the way it works is that your GPS device that you're using in your car is receiving signals from multiple GPS satellites, at least 4. And based on the signal, it will compute where you are. Okay, and so that's how the GPS-based location is being, computed. The pros of GPS-based location data is that it provides high accuracy. Okay. The downside is that it requires unobstructed view of the sky, so it has to be used. It is actually working only in outdoor, where you don't have any obstruction. So it might not work within forested area or near tall buildings because they are considered as an obstruction. And it might take a long time to get the location data. So, if you're using mobile devices, the response time might not be as fast enough. Okay. It might require extra hardware. You need to have a GPS-enabled device in order to use this. You could use Wi-Fi, so that's typically, whenever I'm using wireless laptop, the wireless, the laptop with the wireless, this is actually what is being used underneath to get the location data. So basically, devices will compute again location based on distances from multiple Wi-Fi access points. Okay, so you could actually get some Wi-Fi signal from multiple, Wi-Fi points, Wi-Fi tower, so to speak, and based on the distances to those Wi-Fi towers, the devices can compute your location. Again, it provides high accuracy and it works indoors. So that's actually a good side of using Wi-Fi as opposed to GPS, and it's fast. The downside of Wi-Fi is that it might not work well in rural area where Wi-Fi access points are scarce. Okay. Cell phone location data. So again, it works pretty much the same as Wi-Fi triangulation. So again, devices can compute the location of itself based on the distances from multiple cell phone towers. Again, it provides a fairly good accuracy. It works indoors and is fast. Again, it has the same downside as a Wi-Fi. It might not work well when where cell phone towers are scarce. So Wi-Fi and cell phone towers, Wi-Fi, the cell phone-based location data work well in the cities. User-defined location data. So basically, users can provide their location-related data, address, zip code, and things like that to the application. And as expected, the process that it might be more accurate if user entered very specific location data. Downside is that might not be accurate if the wrong data is provided. All right, so let's do our first exercise. So yeah, first of all, let's do the setup here. Now, whenever you are reading HTML5 from local file system, the browsers like a Chrome prohibit that HTML file to access the website other than so basically this is this is because of the single origin policy constraint. Okay, so this is basically to prevent security the vulnerability, especially especially cross-site scripting. So you have a two workaround. You should be able to run the web server and then access your HTML file that contains the code through the URL of that website. So we're going to actually use a Python. So this is the simplest case. So we are going to actually start the Python server. Okay. I have provided the Windows version of the Python as part of the zip file, but if you're using Linux or Mac OS, you can just go here, then the install Python, and all you have to do is basically starting Python with this command from the location, from the directory that you have a sample code. Okay, so the sample code is under HTML5 geolocation. Yeah, so not in the sample code, in HTML5 geolocation, the hands-on lab. So Python and -m and http.server. Okay, so that's all you have to do. Or you can actually disable that security constraint. So basically you can start your Chrome with -- disable web security option like this. Okay, then in that case, single origin policy will not be enforced. Okay, so in that case you can access the application. You can access the HTML5. So that's the setup you have to do. I'm going to actually use this model because this is recommended. Okay. All right, so exercise 1 is, again, we are going to actually see location information sources. So here, if I go to whatismyaddress.com, it actually gives you location information based on IP address. So if I'm using my laptop using Ethernet connection, wired connection, this is the level of the location data that I will get. I might not actually get more accurate information except the city. Okay, since I'm using wireless, I get more accurate information. Okay, let's see. If you want to actually see, now, if you actually go to this website, the Meraki.com mapper, it will actually map. It will actually give you the where you are located, and it will give you the signal. Okay, so you can see this is the signal of the signal strength. Okay, signal strength. So I can actually, this is the signal yellow to blue or green or whatever. So this is the signal, and the signal strengths will be sent to the Google the geolocation service along with IP address, along with the access points, and all those information you can collect. Okay, and that will be used by the Google Web Service to find the coordinate information. Okay, just kind of give you a sense of how things work underneath in terms of collection of the location data by the device. Okay, all right, so that is exercise 1. Accuracy. So accuracy are in fact influenced by multiple factors. Type of browser. So the specification, geolocation specification, specifies the API, but it does not dictate how that is implemented. Okay, so each browser has its own implementation. So depending on the implementation, the information that you get might be different, including accuracy. And type of device, whether it's a phone, whether it's a tablet, whether that is a laptop or desktop, they influence the accuracy, because one of the reasons of a type of difference might actually have a different the accuracy is because different devices has a different capability. For example, the mobile phones has a GPS enabled. My laptop doesn't have a GPS enabled. Wi-Fi is enabled or not. The internet connectivity is again, is actually calling Google Web Service through the internet. So if the internet is not available, then you might not get the data information from Google Web Service or Apple, the location service. A VPN. So the VPN might actually give you the information on your company that you're connected to, rather than your the machine that you are running. So these are the factors that influence the accuracy. All right, so let's talk about privacy. As I said before, every browser or every application, whenever they call geolocation API, browser has to intercept it, and then it has to ask the user permission, because location information could be very sensitive information. Okay, So as you know, we just tried this one before, right? You know, whenever you go, in this case, Google Map, if you find the location information, let's actually go to one more time.